Hi guys, JT here. Today I'm bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle. We will always be here Pride Month 2026 bundle of June 2026. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using the links in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and support the channel in the process. Before I begin, I'd like to thank you the viewers for watching my videos. I hope they're helpful. Most importantly, knowing that you're watching it means the world. Anyway, let's get into this. And number 1 we have Thirsty Suitors, a genre-mashing RPG that blends turn-based combat, arcade skateboarding, and high-stakes cooking into a vibrant exploration of culture and reconciliation. You play as Jala, a young woman returning to her hometown of Timber Hills after a series of messy breakups. Your mission is to face the music and your exes, while navigating the heavy weight of immigrant family expectations. The game shines in its surreal battles, which feel more like theatrical therapy sessions than traditional fights. You use taunts to exploit your opponent's emotional vulnerabilities, turning arguments into stylish spectacles. Between these showdowns, you'll skate through the colorful streets of Timber Hills to reach your next destination. While the traversal mechanics are relatively simple, they provide a breezy rhythm to your journey. Cooking takes center stage when you're at home, where you must prepare South Asian dishes under the discerning judgmental gaze of your mother. These segments use QuickTime events to mirror the pressure of seeking parental approval. Every recipe and conversation is steeped in South Asian culture, offering a rare and authentic lens on the second-generation immigrant experience. You'll find that Thirsty Suitors is less about defeating enemies and more about growth. Whether you're dealing with a cult of skate punks or your formidable grandmother, the focus remains on the persona you build through your choices. It is a heartfelt, funny, and visually flamboyant adventure that asks you to look inward, reconcile your past, and finally find yourself amidst the chaos of your youth. And number 2 we have Harmony, The Fall of Reverie, a narrative adventure by Don't Nod that plays like an immersive visual novel with a rich, branching story. You control Polly, a young girl who returns home to investigate her mother's disappearance, only to unlock the powers of an oracle named Harmony. This gift allows you to access the Augural, a unique system where you can look into the future to preview the consequences of your choices. You navigate a complex world populated by your family and 6 human aspirations, which are masterfully designed deities with deep stereotype-defying personalities. While Polly operates with an independent agenda that sometimes limits your player urgency, she remains a grounded, lovable protagonist. The game handles themes of corporate hopelessness and power dynamics smoothly, and its steady narrative pacing picks up significantly after a tutorial-heavy first act. Visually, the title elevates the standard visual novel format with gorgeous, vibrant, and cinematic scenes that make the world feel alive. The stellar presentation is further enhanced by full voice acting and a fantastic soundtrack composed by Lena Raine. Though you might find that you do not naturally click with every single supporting character, and a lack of a dialogue autoskip feature slightly hinders replaying specific areas, the deep narrative visibility makes it highly replayable. This game offers an excellent, fresh approach to the choice-driven genre, giving you total control over the fate of 2 clashing worlds. And number 3 we have Tavern Talk, a high fantasy drink mixing visual novel heavily inspired by Dungeons & Dragons and modern tabletop gaming. Your humble inn serves as a cozy hub where adventurers, warriors, and unique patrons gather to share quests, seek rest, or chat. While characters initially look like standard fantasy stereotypes such as blonde elves and stout dwarf warriors, they are written with a casual modern tone and adhere to a D&D alignment chart, making them feel like real people playing a tabletop session. When patrons visit, you must brew drinks tailored to their tastes or specific stat needs like strength, charisma, or defense. While this simple brewing process lets you comfortably vibe with the narrative, it quickly becomes repetitive since patrons rarely change their orders. Eventually, you gather rumors from conversations to piece together quests for your bulletin board. Unfortunately, this system lacks meaningful experimentation or challenge, and because you never actually witness the quests unfold, these potential impactful moments can feel flat. Despite the lack of mechanical depth, you'll find immense charm and wonderful world building throughout the experience. The visual novel features gorgeous art and a diverse engaging cast of characters. Even the patrons with rancid vibes make for highly interesting interactions. Tavern Talk is a welcome, if slightly flawed, addition to a niche subgenre. If you love deep character interactions and want a wonderful window into a tabletop-inspired fantasy world, you'll never want to leave. This charming game provides a delightful, cozy adventure. And number 4 we have Vampire Therapist, a linear visual novel that explores dark comedy, trauma, and mental health through the eyes of the undead. You play as Sam, a 200-year-old cowboy vampire who realizes that both humans and vampires need professional help to process centuries of baggage. Under the guidance of Andromachos, an ancient vampire running a German nightclub, you will learn real-world therapy techniques to assist a quirky historical cast of clients, including a perfectionist, Isabella d'Este. The core gameplay revolves around analyzing your client's dialogue to diagnose cognitive distortions, such as should statements or control fallacies. You can customize your sessions by selecting specific distortions to add to your toolkit, which alters the hilarious, vulgar, and crude dialogue. While the game provides an illusion of choice, the overarching narrative remains strictly linear. Visually, the game utilizes beautifully drawn static character portraits that express dynamic emotions, though you might find unlimited backdrops like The Office or Kink Room a bit repetitive. Fortunately, the audio shines thanks to stellar voice acting from creators Cyrus Namati and industry veteran Matthew Mercer, who brilliantly voices a horny German goth named Reinhard. For the price of a bundle, this cozy yet dark visual novel delivers a well-written, funny, and compelling story. Some technical bugs of the music and minigames, like meditation and consensual neck biting, can occasionally frustrate you and break your combo streaks. However, the top-notch writing, hilarious interactions, and great psychological mechanics make it an incredibly unique experience. And number 5 we have Death of a Wish, a technical hack-and-slash action fantasy that functions as a brutal, beautiful experiment in self-expression. You guide a tortured youth named Christian on a quest for revenge against a murderous theocratic sanctum. The game transforms standard video game combat into something deeply personal, demanding grace and style to ward off encroaching darkness. The game features an aggressive combat engine inspired by heavy hitters like Bayonetta. You pair distinct combat styles called areas to customize primary and secondary attacks, supplemented by modifier prayer cards and a hovering laser-firing familiar drone. Without a stamina bar limiting actions, you seamlessly chain strikes, delay inputs for unique combos, and execute vital parries that break enemy guards to open opportunities for devastating critical hits. A central mechanic is a corruption system. Every time you fail, Christian's corruption bar creeps toward disaster. However, you can actively reverse this decay by fighting beautifully. Avoiding damage, mixing up abilities, and dismantling foes with absolute discretion actively lowers your corruption, turning survival into an act of self-love. Visually, the game drops you into a dreamy purgatorial realm composed of writhing scratches and squiggles of color. While chaotic, enemy animations remain distinct and perfectly readable. Narrative beats punch forward through stark text and vivid religious iconography, delivering a story that handles intense trauma. While it originates from a DLC concept from Luca, Born of a Dream, this expansion stands the triumphant, refreshing achievement. It is a brilliant experience that'll leave you completely fascinated. And number 6 we have The August Before, a meditative narrative 3D puzzle game about growing up and moving on. This touching indie experience combines the calming room-cleaning mechanics of unpacking with the poignant narrative style found in Gone Home or Life is Strange. In this short journey, your task is sorting through 3 separate rooms belonging to teenagers named Beth, Ivy, and August. Although you can never meet these girls in person, you uncover their innermost secrets, fears, romantic heartaches, and desires by interacting with their belongings. Gameplay is simple and relaxing. You organize items, spin vinyl records or cassettes to play a melancholy soundtrack, and solve self-explanatory environmental puzzles. You'll discover hidden codes on painted walls, search old Tumblr pages, and develop photographs to unlock secret boxes. While the story delivers a palpable sense of nostalgia mixed with hope for the future, the game does have a few drawbacks. It is incredibly brief, taking only about an hour to fully complete, meaning casual players might easily miss the underlying message if they rush through it. Additionally, you should note that developers use generative AI for the background posters scattered around the bedrooms, an inclusion left completely undeclared on a Steam store page. This game is a beautifully visual, emotional tale about leaving the past behind for an uncertain adventure. If you enjoy cozy narrative-driven puzzles, this brief experience is worth your time to form your own opinion. And number 7 we have CraftCraft, Fantasy Merchant Simulator, an RPG crafting sim and visual novel where you play as a newly minted member of the Crafter Guild. Sent to the mysterious port town of Windspell, your mission is to set up shop and craft custom items for the locals. Your journey begins with a character creator offering various fantasy races, styles, and backstories. Each day, you serve 3 clients with unique requests, from ordinary daggers to legendary swords. Listening carefully to their exact orders is critical, because your wages depend on the 3-category scoring system. Unfortunately, the game does not show the client's requests once you enter the crafting stage, meaning you must write down complex details beforehand. The actual crafting takes place at a forge or workbench. Forging relies on a rhythm minigame where hitting the hammer at a perfect time raises your final score. Meanwhile, the workbench lets you disassemble items, consult pattern catalogs, and organize foraged ingredients like mushrooms or flowers. Some tools, like the screwdriver, can feel a bit clunky to use, and navigating the menu might confuse you since the main screen lacks a continue button, requiring you to manually load your progress. Featuring fully voiced dialogue and branching endings, the campaign delivers a cozy, narrative-focused experience. The story wraps out in about 4 hours and lacks an endless mode, but steady developer updates promise to refine the package. If you're looking for a light-hearted, comforting fantasy adventure, this is a title you should absolutely check out. And number 8 we have Bad End Theater, a captivating visual novel that offers players an immersive experience through its multiple endings and intriguing gameplay. While the game's pixel graphics, storyline, and cute dialogues may appear ordinary at first, it surprises players with its depth and complexity. In Bad End Theater, you step into the shoes of one of the 4 characters, the Maiden, the Hero, the Overlord, or the Underling. Each character presents a unique perspective and a set of choices, shaping the outcome of the story and the destiny of its characters. With each decision you make, you unlock different endings, providing a sense of agency and replay value. What makes this game even more intriguing is the ability to restart the world, allowing you to explore alternative storylines with the same or different characters. This feature enhances the game's narrative possibilities and encourages players to dive deeper into its universe. With over 40 endings to discover, the Bad End Theater offers an impressive range of outcomes despite its relatively short playtime of 1 to 3 hours. The game's soundtrack further enhances the immersive experience, dynamically adapting to the situations and character choices. The attention to detail adds another layer of depth to the storytelling and keeps players engaged throughout their journey. Additionally, the Bad End Theater caters to a global audience by supporting 14 different languages for the interface and subtitles. This inclusivity allows players from various linguistic backgrounds to fully enjoy and appreciate the game's rich narrative and gameplay mechanics. In summary, the Bad End Theater is an indie gem that takes players on a thrilling journey as both a villain and a hero. Its multiple endings, engaging storyline, and immersive soundtrack make it a recommended choice for those seeking an interactive and thought-provoking gaming experience. And number 9 we have Dustborn, a third-person narrative adventure set in an alternate, fractured America. You play as Pax, a superpowered black woman posing as a punk rocker, journeying across a fascist dystopia to deliver stolen data to freedom-loving Nova Scotia. This is not just a story-rich visual novel. It is packed with layered gameplay that blends a road trip exploration, rhythm minigames, ghost hunting, and melee combat. Your tour bus doubles as a mission hub. Each stop introduces new characters, tensions, and secrets to uncover. You'll fight off fascists with your upgradable baseball bat, manipulate enemies and allies using Vox, which are words that literally carry power, and perform on stage with your crew through timed button presses. If you miss a note, no worries, the story rolls on. Combat is optional, with difficulty settings including no combat, so you can lean into the story if that's your jam. There's also a Me-M device for ghost-catching minigames that unlock new verbal powers. Upgrades are hidden in the world, and exploration pays off with items that deepen character bonds. Visually, Dustborn is stylized and expressive, though not flawless. Expect some clipping and facial stiffness, but the strong voice acting and gritty punk-infused soundtrack more than make up for it. Using a controller is strongly recommended for smoother gameplay. If you're into narrative adventures like Life is Strange, but crave more interactivity and a grittier, politically charged world, Dustborn delivers. You'll stay for the story, but the mechanics and characters make the trip unforgettable. And number 10 we have We Know the Devil, a magic realist character-driven visual novel that blends pre-internet queerdom with psychological horror. Set at a rigid Christian summer camp, the game follows 3 rebellious, troubled heroines, Neptune, Jupiter, and Venus, who must survive a night in a haunted cabin. The narrative heavily relies on deliberate, difficult choices that determine how your relationships develop and how your story unfolds. Visually, you're treated to a distinct disposable camera aesthetic, while an uncanny sound design and a haunting 80s-inspired synthwave soundtrack evoke a thick, eerie atmosphere reminiscent of the Blair Witch. At a glance, the girls embody classic tropes: the mean girl, the tomboy, and the shy outcast. However, they secretly channel a treasure chest of 90s nostalgia by subverting tropes from Sailor Moon. As you navigate their deep-seated insecurities, you discover complex individuals grappling with intimacy, self-worth, and identity. In the game's final act, their personal transformations reflect the parts of themselves that society and religion have harshly chastised. Neptune confronts corruption and independence, Jupiter struggles with touch and guilt, and Venus, a closeted trans woman, searches for inner truth. This visual novel serves as an incisive, compassionate exploration of community, isolation, and survival. It holds up a mirror to painful truths about what it means to be human, female, and queer. If you're looking for a witty yet gruesomely real experience that challenges your perspective and forces you to understand a marginalized other, this beautifully crafted narrative is a vital game you should absolutely play. At number 11 we have Pesterquest, an episodic visual novel set in the universe of the massively popular Homestuck comic. It represents a labor of love, filled with hyper-stylized artwork and a dedicated interface. However, if you're not already an avid fan of the franchise, you'll likely find it a difficult sell. The story spans 14 chapters and follows a nameless fan transported to another world. Equipped with time travel and teleportation abilities, this protagonist tries to befriend characters across different history periods and unique worlds. While this sounds like a solid concept on paper, you'll find that the mechanics do little to differentiate the experience from a standard visual novel. Occasionally, you get to choose between 2 reactions. Unfortunately, one decision always results in a sudden bad ending, requiring you to restart the chapter. This setup quickly becomes tedious. Unless you're deeply familiar with the lore, the plot will likely go completely over your head. The writing targets a specific audience, utilizing a medley of sarcasm, dated references, and random humor that resonates more with a 13-year-old than a mature gamer in their 30s. This title is difficult to recommend to anyone looking for a standalone visual novel. If you're already a member of the community, you probably bought it at launch and enjoyed the fan service. Otherwise, you should skip this slogging experience and try out other amazing genre classics like Analog: A Hate Story or Doki Doki Literature Club instead. At number 12 we have No Longer Home, an atmospheric game about 2 friends, Bo and Ao, who are processing complex feelings as they bid farewell to a phase of their lives. Developed by Humble Grove, it centers on non-binary protagonists facing the end of their time together in a London flat. As you explore their apartment, you view the space isometrically. Each room is presented like a handcrafted diorama. You rotate these spaces to discover interactive items, accompanied by a wooden clicking sound design that makes the environment feel tangible. You'll uncover small, intimate details in every room that spark memories of their shared joys, accomplishments, and everyday frustrations. The heart of the narrative explores how home is deeply connected to other people. For Bo and Ao, parting ways is intensely painful. As non-binary individuals, they express a profound trepidation about entering a world where they are constantly misunderstood or forced into gendered boxes. The game beautifully captures the real, lived experience of trans and non-binary folks. Its narrative peaks occurs during a lengthy, intimate late-night conversation in bed, where they openly lay out their fears and deep vulnerabilities about the unknown future ahead. This specific and honest title serves as a poignant comfort when you're experiencing a crossroads. While it confronts the psychological weight of endings, it reminds you that the special connections you forge are never truly lost. When you encounter people who truly see and understand you, you carry their love with you wherever you go. Please note that this bundle gives you a 90% off coupon, as opposed to the game itself. And that's all for this bundle. If you're looking for a solid indie haul, the We Will Always Be Here bundle is a total win. For $12, you unlock 11 items supporting the Trevor project. Despite internet trolls review bombing over Dustborn, the overall lineup delivers major value. Low-key hitters like Bad End Theater and cozy wish-listed titles like Tavern Talk and Vampire Therapist make this an absolute steal. Grab it before keys expire next June. and it's a massive GG for your Steam Deck library. In any case, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if this video was helpful, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.